Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I hatched and raised a group of Japanese ricefish, also known as Medaka. For the first batch, I got them as eggs in a test tube. By the time they arrived, a couple had already hatched, but that's completely fine. They're pretty hardy fish, and even as fry, they can handle a lot, so these were shipped without any heat packs or anything, just insulation. So after bringing them up to temperature by floating the test tube in some tank water, I poured them in. These eggs are about 10 days old, and at this point you should be able to see eyes and a bit of colour. Since there's no filter in this tub, I added some plants like water lettuce to help keep the water clean, as well as changing the water every day. They're very active swimmers as soon as they hatch, and you can feed them right away. They seem to like the Hikari first bites that I fed them, but I'm sure any fry food or live microfood would be perfect for them. Changing at least half the water every day is important to keep it clean. Baby ricefish release stunting hormones. Changing the water will keep the levels of those hormones low to ensure that the fish all keep growing at the right speed. When they're young, you'll see them do this little sparring thing where they swim towards each other and bounce away. This is normal, and they grow out of it eventually. A week later, another delivery arrived of ricefish that had already hatched and were a few days old. I just acclimated these ones the same way and put them in the same tub as the ones that I hatched. At this point, I knew they were eating, they were swimming around fine, and they were healthy. So I started to move a few into a tank that I'd set up for growing out fry. The next day I checked up on them and they were all doing well in that tank, so I started to move the rest of them over. Here you can see the massive range of colours in ricefish. Check out the albino one in the bottom left. The colours will just get better and brighter as they get older. I'm keeping them in the jungle tank that I set up a few months ago. Check out the build video if you haven't seen it already. This tank is kept at 25 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It has good filtration and a lot of plants coming out the top and in the water. These use up all the nutrients in the water, which helps to keep the fry healthy. But you still have to keep up on the water changes to keep the fry growing fast. At this point they were big enough that I could start to feed them flake food as well as the fry food. They're nice to look at from above because they're bred to be pond fish, and these guys are eventually going to be going into my outdoor pond once they're old enough. Apparently they grow far faster in sunlight and also get far better colours when they're outside too, so I can't wait to see that. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any pond videos. I'm keeping cherry shrimp and snails in this tank with the fish. These eat up all the leftover food. When the fish are this size, they don't touch the shrimplets at all, which means you can use the same tank for breeding ricefish and shrimp. Since I put the fry in, I've had to feed about 3 times a day, and I've noticed that the plants like the peace lily at the top have started growing a lot faster. Japanese ricefish are great for keeping in all types of tanks or small ponds outside, and I hope after seeing this video you decide to get some.